Now, on your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight!
Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
And that'll do it. It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world.
We're down to 2, now to 1. Here's Jordan. Yes! Here's all over the Chicago Bulls.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah! Welcome to an exciting Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that duo, Cole Johnson. The other half will be joining me momentarily. And let's say hello to the chat real quick. V-Lock, my brother, he says, good morning, one and all. Good morning to you, sir. Same thing to you, Andrew. Good morning. And a Pizzle, good morning. Yes, good morning to all of you. V-Lock says, so mad I missed Chicken Wing Wednesday, but I'm glad for Tripped Out Thursday. Well, hey, I'm glad you're here too, my man. As always, I'm glad you're here today and every day. Same thing with Andrew, same thing with a Pizzle, and same thing for others in the chat that will come momentarily. So if you want to see us, you can go to bs3tvlive.com. You can also go on the Roku app and hit BS3 on it, or get a Roku TV and see BS3 and hit that there. Or you can watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to us on any podcast directory that you have. And you can listen to us on Real Wise Radio and so many other places as well. I'm going to only have one because only one is necessary. Let's get to the whip around. Place, Kansas City. The time, 8:25, 8:30 kickoff. And the game, Chargers at Chiefs. Now, both these teams put forth two wonderful games last year where it took a last-minute effort from, in the very same building, took a last-minute effort from Justin Herbert to have the Chargers win in Arrowhead. It took an overtime game and overtime tilt for the Chiefs to win in SoFi. So if that is what we had on tap for last year, how are these matches going to go this year? Well, we'll find out starting tonight. Now, we saw the Chiefs have their way with the Cardinals. It was ridiculous. I mean, Mahomes, over 300 yards, 30 or 39 passing, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He was flawless. He executed that offense against that porous Cardinals defense as if literally you were dealing with a pro team basically running a scrimmage with a high school squad. And the thing that I think I'm more excited about seeing with the Chiefs is they were running different sets. They ran 3 tight end sets. They were unafraid to run the ball. I'm actually glad that they do that because I still feel, and I will feel that I think the Chiefs would become extremely difficult to beat if they actually commit more to the run than they've had the last 4 years. And if they can do that, I would like their chances better. But that's a big if. Now, on the Chargers end, they did the due diligence in trying to build up their defense. The defense was pretty good last year, but getting Khalil Mack, he is a difference maker all along the line and with the linebacking core, and that makes a huge difference. And the return of Derwin James in the secondary, who this guy, you ask him to do anything in the secondary, he can do it. You ask him to cover, he can. You ask him to cover space, he can. You ask him to lay a lick, he can. You ask him to pick the ball off, he can. What does this man not do in the secondary? So you have those two, and of course you have the pass rusher in Bosa. When you have that going for you on defense, you can have those 3 pieces be the linchpin to a stalwart unit that gave the Raiders fits at home in SoFi. So the Raiders didn't really get on track to about the fourth quarter or third, little end of the third, beginning of fourth quarter. But Herbert basically, he didn't have a great game, but he didn't have a bad one either. It was like he just went through the motions, but he showed you that he still has that cannon arm. He still has that great decision. He still can throw through tight windows. He still has a cannon, and this guy makes decisions like a quarterback in his prime. And he's only in his third year. He makes me drop my jaw every time I watch number 10 of the Chargers play. Part of me wishes that one, this was not on Thursday night, and two, this wasn't so early in the year. I wish they would hold this one back until, I don't know, week 7, 8, and then they play again, either week 16, 17, or 18. I was hoping that they would push that back, but I get that they need to bolster the NFL. I mean, needs to bolster up Thursday night football since Amazon is being more pronounced in taking it over, and they have Al Michaels being the lead voice for it. I get that, they want to make Thursday night football not quite the joke it has become in recent memory. And to do that, you pick a really good game. You pick a really good game. Now, will I expect it to be like the Chargers doing what they did to the Cardinals, which I think this final score was 44-21? No, I don't expect that. I expect more 24-19, the game that the Chargers played at home and they won against the Raiders. I expect that type of game, just a little bit more offense from each team. I really am digging this matchup, and I look forward to seeing this again when we do run it back, going back to Inglewood. To the chat we go, and I was looking forward to my man Sick, SIKKDIGGY. What's up, brother? Good morning to you. Happy Thursday to you. The Playmaker. Good morning to you too. And you have the Elite Eagles Elite Podcast. One Mr. Cool McCain. He says, good morning, everyone. And tune into that network. The special edition of the show is tonight. And I'm interested to hear your take on if you are comfortable or less comfortable with the Eagles, how they played in Detroit. Really interested to hear what you have to say about that. Cool. Sig shows some love to the chat. He says, "What's up, A Pizzle, Vlog, Andrew, Eagles Elite, Playmakers, etc., etc., etc." And Vlog says, "What's up with you?" Playmaker says the same thing to you, Sig. Andrew says the same thing to you. Andrew says it's a great Thursday night matchup. What a shocker! Yeah. To me, this is the true Thursday night opener. This is the Thursday night preview because opening night basically is a game on its own. It's supposed to open the season. To me, it doesn't really open up Thursday night. This game does, and I have to admit the NFL did a good job in picking this game. I just wish that this matchup was saved for later, but it's a good matchup all the same. It is one that I think will have people tune in, which that's really the gist of what the NFL wants to do with TV. They want to put forth good programming, and you can't put forth good programming if you have shoddy games. Six says, well, that's how the schedule can be at times, Cole. In any sport, you have good games at certain times of the season. Yeah. It's not like college where there's certain games are going to be played at certain times of the season. Like, if you mention Iron Bowl, it's going to be played, the Thursday after Thanksgiving. You mentioned Texas, Oklahoma, that's going to be played in the middle of October. You mentioned Notre Dame and USC. It depends on where they play. If it's in LA, it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. If it's in Notre Dame, it's sometime between the second and third second and third Saturday in October. So yeah, that's how the NCAA rolls. The NFL does not roll like that. So, I agree. And that's just how it shakes down. Playmaker says, yeah, this is the debut for Al Michaels. And yes, I forgot Herb Street is doing color for it too. So yeah, I'm also interested to see how Herb Street, I've heard him do NFL games as color guy, but I think he didn't have quite the great setup man in the play-by-play chair as Al Michaels. The one thing I love about Michael's style when it comes to the to the color guy is he will show that he has the skill and he will show that he has the knowledge of the game. Like he'll throw nuggets out there and he says, okay, so yeah, Al knows the game and Al knows the players in it. That's cool. So yeah, I can trust him as a play-by-play guy. He also basically co-signs for the color guy and sets him up very well. I mean, he did that with Chris Collinsworth for years, to where before he became the Sunday night color guy, you really didn't want to have Chris Collinsworth in the booth, and many are like this still because of his voice and sometimes now there's a guy take that he does all the time. But with Al, Chris was made a little more palatable. He was made a little more tolerable. Hopefully Tariq could do the same now, but we'll see as the year goes along. Cool says, realistically, the defense has to be better. Talking about the Eagles and his assessment of them after their game Sunday in Detroit. But I also think the Lions are better than advertised. I agree with that too. This game against the Vikings will tell us a lot more about the defense. I agree with you there. And I totally agree with you about the Lions take. I didn't have so the Eagles gave up 35 points to the lowly Lions. I didn't have that take. My take was more, okay, so the Lions are for real. They will come and battle you. They will come and scratch and claw. Now, can they pull out games like that is another story. And of course, we'll see that as the year goes along. But yeah, I'm not going to undersell the Lions as a team. I will, though, say I really would like to see the defense be better for the Eagles too. I think they have the chance to be better, and I think this is the issue that I saw with the Eagles. Cool. It seemed like the Eagles in that game let off the gas. And with a team that young, they can't do that. They can't let off the gas. They have to keep the pressure up. And if they can do that, I think they can be the NFC East champs and would be a runaway at that. But if they're going to play as if they only going to invest 35, 40, 45 minutes in a game, you're going to have some teams that are better than the Lions sneak in. They will snatch victory. They'll snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and they will be the victor. And the Eagles will be like, "Well, what the heck did we do? Doggone it, I can't believe this." That's the type of energy that I think you will have to deal with when it comes to the Eagles. Too young in that mentality. Otherwise, you guys got some talent all around the board, man. Ooh. And I'm telling you, years from now, you talking about 2025, 6, 7, if they can keep that nucleus together, ooh, man. Cool says Jonathan Gannon's bad for that. Yeah. That's the only issue I see for the Eagles. Otherwise, I like what I see. They're committed to running. The only other thing I want to say, though, is I want to see Jalen Hurts not run it so much. If they can have that potent running game and accumulate the yards that they did, but still not have Jalen Hurts run it 16 times in the game, I would like your chances better. Oh, man, agreed. Bad, piss poor play call in the fourth quarter, especially by the defensive coordinator. Yeah, I think if the whole team, and I'm talking about the coaching staff too, if they can just settle into the game and not let the game be bigger and the moment be bigger than the game, I think the Eagles will surprise you and surprise many others, and we would say, wow, okay, so they're learning a lot about themselves. Underrated Darkness, how you doing, brother? Good morning to you. Good morning to the chat. This is going to be good. Well, that is my take on tonight's game between the Chargers and the Chiefs. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it again when they play down the road in LA as well. But that is your one take whip around for Thursday. From the NFL to the college game, I think it's time we do this. Passionate.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight!
Totally.
This one has a chance!
Deeds.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
And we welcome, as we always do each every week, the one, the only Chris Dietz. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Despite what it says, this is not Nurse Namastasia.
I don't know why that's there. That.
You know, I don't want her to feel her to feel slighted to be compared to me. She's much more pleasant to look at.
Thank you for those eagle eyes, sir. Besides that and the Thor axe, what is on your mind, man?
Oh, we got so much going on, man. And I'm glad you're here, Cole, because we need to discuss. I was talking to Snowman before the episode. So I was talking to you about a segment over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I've got the audio done, but I don't know how to do voiceovers. So I need you to teach me how to do the voiceover. So it's not just, me talking and people looking at my face. I want to be able to show the pictures of the people I'm talking about and talk over it, but I don't know how to do that. So I need your guidance, because I've said, I was talking with someone and he's like, Cole can do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not having Cole produce things for my show as much as I would love to have you do that. Mm-hmm. The old adage of, teach a man how to fish. He'll be able to do stuff. I don't want to have to go to Cole. Cole, I need your help. But yeah, I definitely need to know how you guys do it, so that I can start pumping these things out, because I'm for the audience. What I'm talking about, I've created a segment for Fifth Down where I am comparing MCU characters to current NFL quarterbacks, and I've gotten about 20 deep on my list. So each segment on Fifth Down, I'm gonna be throwing it out there, and we're gonna explain the origins of the characters and then how they mirror certain NFL players, and it's more of Fifth Downs. It's more of our message of merging the comics and sports together, because that's our plan.
Now, I find it interesting that you're doing these takes. I think we were talking about you doing the same thing with the NBA. One of the takes that I loved is that you compared LeBron James to Captain Marvel, and I was like, wow. Oh, that's an interesting comparison.
the NBA one, I have the NBA too. I have a few of these. And I figured I would start with the NFL, because the NFL is now, and I can get to the NBA in a month when they kick off. The NBA ones are even more. I think they fit more, just more succinctly. They just sync up so much better, so much better. But I've done as I said, I did quarterbacks, I did NBA superstars, I did current NBA players. I also did NBA greats, and I did NFL, and I did NFL. I stuck with quarterbacks, and I did quarterback greats as well. So we have a lot. I like, and I want to say this, for anybody that tuned in last week, how awesome was last week's? This was the most interactive show I've seen on YouTube in a long time. Last week, where we just had people coming in, we had people coming in left and right, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good.
And
good
we're gonna do the same thing because I told Snowman I'm gonna debut the as I call it the Marvel Cinematic Sports segment.
MCS. Okay.
So we're gonna debut it. I'm gonna try to do that next week, and so I want everybody out there. I want everybody in the chat, everybody to be thinking. Think about the quarterback you want. You give me the quarterback, and I will tell you what I will tell you where I have them placed. I will tell you the character that places them, and then you'll have to tune into Fifth Down to get the. I'll give you a cursory. I'll give you a little bit of it, but you'll have to tune into Fifth Down to get the full explanation. And obviously, I will let y'all produce it because the people that you throw out there will be the first ones that I do. I already have the first one done. Like I said, I already have the first one done, and it's amazingly on point.
Well, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the expansion of Fit Down. It sounds like you're starting to really get.
By the way, to answer the question, to be interactive with the chat, Sick Diggy, I used to have a goatee. I actually have pictures of it. I can send them. I used to have a goatee, and it's really strange. Because as you can tell, I have dark hair at the start, and then you can tell my hair gets blonde and it gets lighter as it goes out. Yet my facial hair, when it grows out red. And I don't know why. I have no idea. I don't have red hair anywhere else, but when I grow facial hair, when an interesting story about that. When I was playing, the reason I grew the goatee out is because I was playing college baseball at the time.
Right.
And I think I started the season off. I was in a little bit of slump. I was like 2 for 10 in like our first 3 games. And I just nothing was working. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start growing out facial hair until I start hitting. And I started growing it, and then I cut it into different things. I cut it into the goatee, and I went 4 for 4 the next day. And I said we got to stick with it. So I stuck with it, and then the season ended, and of course school ended. But I knew we were coming back for the fall, so I was like, all right, now what do I do? Do I shave it off, or do I grow it out all summer? So I grew it out all summer. When I came back, my goatee was like down to here. And it was just so crazy. My coach looked at me and was like, what the hell? And I was like, Coach, I was hitting good with it. And he's like, that's true. You ended the season well. Let's go with it. So we just rolled with it.
Well, it doesn't scare Sick. He says, I live in Scandinavia. I've seen plenty of hair and facial color and combinations in men. Which, yeah, I've seen that too. And I haven't been in Scandinavia, but I have seen some Danish, some Norwegians, and some Finnish men and some Swedish men. And yeah, some will have like blonde hair, but brunette goatees, and vice versa. I've seen that too. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So it was just weird, but yeah, I had the goatee, and everybody was like, "What in the world?" And the thing is, when you start growing facial hair, when you grow it out, it's actually more work. People were like,
"Yeah,
why are you why are you so lazy and you don't cut it?" I'm like, no. To get it to look like this, you have to cut everything else. It's more work to keep it up than it is to than it would be just to shave it off and be done with it. So it was harder. It was more work than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Then to your point, it's taken all this time for me to actually have the goatee I have to actually look as I won't say it's the best it's ever looked, but I mean it looks presentable because I had patches all throughout my 20s.
And that's the thing. Like if you don't have the upkeep, then you just have like the goatee, and then you have like the 5 o'clock shadow starts coming in, and it's like if you don't have facial hair, you can get by with the 5 o'clock shadow. If you have facial hair, it shows even more. So you have to upkeep it every day, every 2 days. It's I'm telling you, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, man, you getting a lot of love in the chat though. Playmaker says, "What's good, Chris?" B-Lot says, "Good morning, Mr.
Sorry, Playmaker. Iowa didn't cut it, but the Cyhawk game was good. Was a good game, man.
Yeah, he says that Wisconsin and Iowa don't want to win.
Nobody wants to win in the West in the Big Ten West because then they got to go play Michigan or Ohio State. They don't want to do that.
Yeah. Victor says, "Good morning to you, Mr. Dietz." A Epistle says, "Dietz." Oh man, sick. Basically saying, yeah, good looking out, and good embarrassment on me. Well, since you're not Nurse Namastasia. Hall TV says, quote, "Don't be defenseless, be relentless." Huh. Yeah, I think a lot of defenses in both college and pro could probably deal with that quote and would need to hear it more often.
Defenseless. He must be talking about the Big 12.
Yeah. They've been that way for years.
As we coined it. We coined it on our very first episode of Fit Down Sports Show 6 years ago. We said the Big 12, where defense is optional.
Yeah.
and most teams it's not even an option. It's not even option. It's not even an option. They don't even care.
They don't care. No, it's more like if I can outscore you, I'm good. And it's gotten them in trouble when they play outside of the conference, as we have seen in many National Conference semifinals games, National Championship semifinal games.
Every time the Big 12 has been in, every time I remember them in a playoff, they've gotten smacked in the mouth. I mean, I remember Alabama. It was first play. OJ Howard went for a touchdown. Went for a touchdown on the very first play, and then the last time I remember the Big 12 being in it, I think was LSU, and I think LSU put up 50 on them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, made me think of back in 2009. But anyway, Cool says Deeds, and she says morning Deeds. Let's see here. Six says I keep a soul patch since I can't grow a beard. Deeds. Ryan says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to everyone in Washington listening. It's Thursday. Yes, it is." He says, "I've recently shaved my beard down and kept a mustache for a friend's birthday. It's taken 2 weeks to grow the beard back. Happy to have it back." Well, yeah, I did the same thing with my goatee back in early April. I had a shave mistake, so I had to shave it all off. My wife hated it, and I did too. I don't really like myself barefaced too. But the goatee grew back pretty quickly. Like about 3 weeks time, it looks like how it does now. So I was like, okay, so it didn't take long. Got a fantasy football question for you, although I know this is not college, but it's still a good question. He says, "I have a fantasy football question from the Hawk TV." He said, "What's a great haul for Russell Wilson?"
You mean the Hawk would have to define that. You mean giving him up or to go get him?
Yeah.
They're two different answers in that.
That's a good question. That's a good qualifier.
Because I love Russell Wilson. So he was one of my sleepers. And unfortunately I didn't get him. And then on my other team, my keeper was Pat Mahomes. So I wasn't drafting a quarterback. In that league, and unfortunately, my backup quarterback was Mr. Dak Prescott, and so now I'm in the market again for a backup. But Pat Mahomes, but when Pat Mahomes is throwing for 5 touchdowns a game, I'll take that.
That was ridiculous. That seriously, like I said in the opener, what Mahomes did to the Cardinals, it literally looked like it was a pro team having a 7-on-7 scrimmage with a high school team. I mean, they just made it look so easy to execute against that defense.
Well,
it was almost downright embarrassing.
You know, it was a lot of the media. I blame a lot of that on the media, because all we heard all off season was they lost Tyreek Hill, they lost whoever they lost, all these guys that they lost, and the Chiefs were like, oh yeah, we lost them. come look at us now, right? And what did they do? Instead of getting the ball to Tyreek Hill 9 times, they spread it around. They spread it around down the field, and then inside the 10-yard line, he just dumped it to Kelsey every time. Yeah.
And Cool echoes that. He says Chiefs killed it in week 1. Yeah, they did. And I love the fact they did different things. 3 tight ends. They were unafraid to run. I was like, oh, I'm seeing a new wrinkle.
Getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire involved in the passing game.
Involved in the passing game.
If this guy can do that and stay on the field the whole time, watch out for it. This kid's already a great running back. If he can catch and stay on the field, that's where you get into trouble.
Yeah.
And for Cool and you were talking about the Eagles before I came on.
Yeah.
No, the Eagles can't they can't live without having Miles Sanders on the field. I don't understand the coaching decisions that they make over there.
Thank you.
And I understand I understand Boston Scott is like, I understand he's a good spellback.
Yeah, he's okay.
Miles Sanders should be on the field.
He can be a difference maker. Yes.
And for fantasy people, I had Miles Sanders last year, and it drove me crazy that he would be on the field all the way down. It was like Varsity Blues. He would be all the way down the field, and then inside the 10-yard line, they'd be like, "All right, you're done." I'm like, "Can you at least finish it off with a touchdown?" Like that would. I think he had like 3 touchdowns last year. Like, it was awful. It was so awful to watch because he would get them all the way down the field and then they would take him out. I'm like, what? Come on.
Cool says the Eagles love Gainwell.
They do. They fall in love with their backup running backs. Like Miles Sanders is your go-to guy. I mean, look at what the Giants did. And they finally got a good game from Saquon Barkley, and he didn't leave injured.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, remember, he replaced Saquon Barkley, and at Penn State, and he was equally as good. He was equally as good. And I just don't understand he needs to get more than 15 touches. Like you can't just keep cycling these guys in. And I understand part of that might be, it's the first game. Let's ease them in. Let's ease them into it, and let's work everybody. But that's my question with the Eagles is if they can't keep Miles Sanders on the field, they're not going to win.
Here it might be why probably. Cool says Sanders has health conditions, so they are cautious on how many reps he gets a game. Well, that might be true.
It's football, man. It's football. You can be cautious all you want.
That's true. Like one good hit and you're back out.
This isn't like Tommy John Little League. Like, all right, 75 pitches and you're done. Like it could be one play. You could be done. It could be your 36th carry. Like, it's football. It's football. If you're scared, if you play scared, that's when you get hurt.
Yeah. And that's a really good point.
So I've always said that, but even then, like big positions, I understand not having him on the field. You should have him on the field second and third down, third and short. Miles Sanders should be on the field to be a threat.
Yeah.
You need those. You need to have that. And So that's the question for me about the Eagle. And then of course the big question is Jalen Hurts. And I've said this all along. When Jalen Hurts, the question with Jalen Hurts is not can he pass, because we know he can.
Of course.
The question is, when does he become, all right, 1, 2, 3 reads before he takes off and runs?
Exactly.
Right now, it's, all right, first read's not there, boom, take off. And you can't win that way. And you see what happens late in the game. Late in the game, they couldn't control the ball.
Right.
They allowed the Lions to come back in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They allowed the Lions to come back. The Lions are actively trying to lose. And they made it look like the Lions were trying to win.
Not actively trying to lose. That's sad.
They've been actively trying to lose for the last 25 years.
Oh my gosh. That's cold. But you mentioned that's the same gripe I have when it comes to Lamar Jackson. I think many times he just gets stuck on, okay, the first read isn't there, I'm going.
Lamar Jackson is, if the tight end's covered, I'm running.
Yeah, that
he doesn't even
it
try.
upsets me. Yeah, and it upsets me.
I said this. I think I was on Rod's podcast on Monday. I think I told him this. Lamar Jackson's stats were like he at halftime he was like 10 of 17 for under 100 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
but he had 3 touchdown passes.
Mm-hmm.
It's such ridiculous. He has such ridiculous numbers.
Yeah,
that you just look at him like, what? Why? What?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it goes back to what Marquise Brown said. I mean, his own wide receiver said this guy can't throw the ball to the wide receivers.
Yeah, he
can only throw to the tight end.
Yeah,
and his this isn't my criticism of Lamar. This is his own wide receiver. Marquise Brown was on his team at the time when he said it, and Lamar Jackson was in the middle of an MVP season. There was no reason to say it. You just said it to the media and it's been telling ever since that Bills game, ever since that Buffalo Bills game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson has just been regressing.
Oh, he got shook in that playoff game. I really believe he got shook before he even got injured. He got shook in that game. Well, before we continue this conversation, I have a very special guest to introduce.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
Now batting, hitting the bong later, but drinking of his coffee mug, number 420, Wise El Jefe. Number 420.
Had to do it.
What in the all types of blue hell? Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Mr. I Smoke That Herb joins us today. Wise El Jefe.
Welcome, Wise.
I would have been here earlier, but I'm on vacation and kind of like slept in.
It's understandable, man. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, we've been talking, well, sort of potluck football, and we just were talking about the Eagles, and then we talked about Jalen Hurts, and then we talked about Lamar Jackson, and basically having these quarterbacks only have one read in their progression before they take off. And Deeks was saying that he thinks that Hurts hurts himself by having that one read and go instead of trusting the progressions before he takes off. What do you say about that?
Just look at Smith. Had no catches. That's all I got to say. Devontae Smith had no catches for the Eagles.
I don't think. Did he even play?
Yes, he played.
Because I didn't watch the game. I just watched. I was watching the highlights because it wasn't on at our bar.
Not one catch.
So you think
I have him on my fantasy league.
Me too. I had him on my fantasy team. I had him on my fantasy team too. Luckily, I went against the guy who scored the least amount of points, so I was able to get away with Devontae Smith giving me a goose egg.
No, nothing. Not one. It's like he had like 3 targets.
So are you saying that Jalen is to AJ Brown as Lamar Jackson is to Mark Andrews?
Yes.
He just locks eyes on
Yes,
that one guy, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But I would have thought it would have been the opposite because Smith was there with him last year.
Yeah, he has more chemistry. You would think he had much chemistry with Devontae Smith. Yeah, I agree.
I mean that's probably the that's probably the offense. And I mean it's the way that they've had it set up. The way they've had it set up for him is, all right, we're going to run one route. You're going to read one guy, and if the guy's in the way, run. If he's not, don't even think about looking to option 2. Like, no, to be a passer in the NFL, you have to have option 2, option 3, and option 4. You have to have that option of, all right, I'm not He-Man. Throw the ball away. Live another play.
But you would think that, I mean, this is Hurts' third year. You would think that coaches wouldn't say, okay, if the first read isn't there, run. You would think by now they would have coached them up to say, trust your reads. And then if those aren't there, trust your athletic instincts to either get us another down or to get out and scramble. I mean, I would give this his rookie year. This is his third year now. And you got to see progression beyond that now. But you have to. You have to.
That's what we need that's what you need from Jalen Hurts. And if he can get that, and it's not like we haven't seen that. Like we've seen Jalen Hurts play at high levels.
Yeah.
And play sophisticated passing. I mean, this is a guy who ran Lincoln Riley's offense. This is a guy who,
right.
I mean, every time somebody wants to talk about, he's just a runner, I'm like, go watch the SEC championship game against Georgia.
Yeah, he's not just
when they couldn't run the ball because they were down, and Jalen Hurts came in, boom, 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 4 passes, and it was in the end zone.
Yeah. No, he's not just a runner. It's just that for me, I think he trusts his athletic instincts far too often when everything breaks down and when the pressure comes to him. It's like, okay, I know I could trust my legs more than I could trust my arm. And to your point, Deets, he has the arm to where he actually can be what he can be and actually be a very good quarterback in the NFL. Because that's what he's supposed to do. Listen, now he has the weapons. Exactly.
Yes, he has the weapons. Listen, he has the tight end. He has running backs he can drop it off to. He has 2 great receivers. He has AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Those are 2 excellent receivers. So he has the weapons around him. Can he take that next step? Can he be same thing with Daniel Jones? He has all these weapons now. Now he has a healthy Saquon Barkley. Can Brian Dable get the best out of him as well? Listen, the 2 Eagles and the Giants have 2 quarterbacks that have talent, but can they put it together? Because Daniel Jones has the arm strength. He's mobile. He's that. People don't give him credit for how athletic he is.
The question I have about Daniel Jones, and people will say, oh, he threw for all these yards. All the yards he threw for last week were that one play where the guy was wide open and there wasn't a defender within 20 yards of him. Like the question I have for Daniel Jones, and this has been his problem all his time, is throwing into tight windows. Like the NFL is not going to give you. The NFL's not going to give you. I still have no idea how the Titans let Sterling Shepard run wide open. I mean, there wasn't a guy within 20 yards
as well. He doesn't hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
he had that big interception in the end zone, and he fumbles the ball.
That's the issue I have.
He has the talent. He has the arm strength. He has the mobility. He has the athleticism. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. Yeah. He has the arm strength. He has the mobility. He has the athleticism. But can they put it together? That's the question.
You just yeah. No, go ahead, man.
No, that's it. If they can put it together, they'll be 2 great quarterbacks.
Yeah. You hit on the key for me with Daniel Jones. Taking care of the ball. If he could do that, the rest took care of itself, except, of course, that offensive line needs to hold a little stronger.
Yes.
They can't allow that many sacks. But besides those two things, he cannot turn the ball over, especially if he's in the opponent, especially if he's in the red zone. You can't turn the ball over there, especially. You got to, the quarterback has to say, we got to come up with points. We got to come up with points, whether it's a touchdown or field goal. We got to come up with points because we're here. We got to take care of the ball. And he has to be the one to take care of the ball the most.
And then as far as the Eagles, their defense was supposed to be one of their strengths, right?
Right.
The Lions came roaring back.
Yeah, Dietz actually said that. Yeah.
I want to know where that myth came from. Because to me, coming into the season, their defense was, except for defensive line, their defense.
That's where it is. Defensive line.
Their interior defensive line is
their strength.
disgusting.
Oh, that's their strength is the defensive line. They can actually put pressure on the QB.
They're two defensive tackles. They got the old guard and they got the new guard.
The beast Jordan Davis. Yes.
Yeah,
that's
Davis,
why. That's right there.
Who by far was my favorite. He was my number one pick in the draft last year. I don't know how he fell as far as he did, but he did. The Eagles got him. It was a great pick by them. But and to match him up with the other guy, with the other kid they have, or not a kid anymore, but I just remember him from South Carolina. But they have that, except for the interior of the defense. Their linebackers are decent, but nothing to write home about. Their secondary has been awful. They tried to match it up with Darius Slay. Darius Slay has been an absolute disaster.
Oh, Darius Slay.
As far as the Eagles brought him in to be the shutdown corner, and that has not happened.
Right.
So I failed to see where everybody said, "Oh, their defense is going to be their strength." No, I don't know where we saw that, but I saw them getting lit up last year, so I questioned where they were coming from with that. But back to the point about the quarterbacks and these two guys, the two guys you picked are absolutely right. I think it's a mentality now. It's a mentality that guys are growing up with. You have the ball and make a play, and you have to make a play with it. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing that everybody needs to understand. Sometimes the play you make is not a good one. And and that's what you need. You need to avoid the not good play. Look, a fumble and an interception, that's something you can't have. Throwing the ball out of bounds, you can live another play.
Yeah.
Many people don't see that. They don't live because they haven't lived that life. They've lived the life of being Superman and being able to, from high school on, basically be told, hey, hold on to the ball and stretch the play out and something will come open. That doesn't work in the NFL. In the NFL, they're going to take your play. Sometimes the defense is going to win. You have to just take the win. You have to take it as a loss. Yeah. All right, throw the ball out of bounds, and we'll play another day. I mean, how many times do you see Tom Brady just drop straight back and just spike it into the ground? You see that at least once or twice a game because he looks up and he's like, "Oh, they got us. They got us covered. There's nothing there," and he just spikes it at a running back.
Well, it's like what Herm Edwards said one time. He said,
best Herm Edwards quote.
Yeah, he said, look, I want every offensive possession to end in a kick. I don't care if it's a point after touchdown, field goal, or punt. I want every offensive possession to end in a kick. Because it is important that the offense knows that the object of the game is to take care of the ball. More than anything else, other than scoring, obviously. You take care of the ball. And you don't put your defense in disadvantageous positions by doing something stupid on offense.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
What?
Is that true? Darius Slay was a Pro Bowler last year? No, not last year.
Yeah, that's what Cool McCain says. He made a Pro Bowl last year, and he says Slay was a beast last year, except for except for against the Seahawks. Now he says our linebacker group now has much better players. Remember the name Kasir White. Nelson was a problem in our defense last year, and Brad Bradbury is a huge upgrade. And he says, "Look, if you don't believe me, go look."
I know. I believe. I don't remember. To me, I don't even acknowledge the Pro Bowl anymore. It's such a joke. Oh, yeah. Like I don't even know who was in. I don't know who was in it. Like half the people don't even show up. So I don't know. I don't know what happens with the Pro Bowl.
No, I think yeah, and I think many would probably say being an All-Pro is more, I guess, prestigious than being in the Pro Bowl. But of course, if you're in a Pro Bowl, we all know you get paid more money because that is considered a perk also. And I know that's an incentive these NFL owners give to players as taking they carry it in front of them. Hot TV says, Cole, as a Washington Commanders fan, I am not feeling the love.
What love do you want to feel that you had a comeback win against the Jaguars? The Jaguars basically were like, okay, here's the game. You guys
everybody's celebrating because Carson Wentz, what he didn't do last year against the Jaguars when he needed to do it, he did it this year.
Well, you just brought it up. What he didn't do last year. The reason he didn't do it last year is because it was week 7. Because it was week 17, and the playoffs were on the line.
Well, week 18.
Yeah, whatever the last week. It was the last game, and all you had to do was beat the Jaguars, and you're in. Oh wait, first play, pick 6.
But the thing is, he had that situation the week before too. Winning you in the week before as well,
and didn't do it.
But that was against the Raiders, who were also in the same situation.
It
wasn't against the Jaguars, who were actively trying to lose, and then lose, and you get a better draft pick. Nope.
Well,
Carson Wentz is just going to throw the ball right to. I mean, they couldn't even fake it. The ball was thrown right to the guy.
Yeah, no question. The Raiders are the better team, but the Colts should have been better than the Raiders, and they were hosting the Raiders, and they beat the Patriots the week.
Absolutely.
Before. So
again, nothing's on the line. Nothing's on the line in week 1. Carson Wentz is a great week 1 player.
Yeah,
when nothing's on the line.
And what made that situation bad is you had them beat the Patriots at home, and then they turn around, they go to the Cardinals and beat them in the desert. So you're thinking, okay, well, cool. One win in the last 2 games, and one of them was against the Jaguars. The coach should be in, and he lays an egg both those games.
Yep, exactly.
But Hawk TV says a W is a W, gents.
A win is a win.
It is.
But there's nothing to analyze. There was nothing to analyze in that game other than
I would say this.
Antonio Gibson survived the game. That's the best thing the Washington Commanders have going for him.
I will say
that he walked off the field.
I will say this. Wentz threw a pretty good dime to McLaurin for a touchdown. I'll admit that.
And I needed that one, boy, because
hey,
like McLaurin was going to go.
Curtis Samuel started finally paying dividends.
Oh yeah,
I think they threw to him like 3 straight. Every time I was looking up, it was Curtis Samuel that was making the catch.
Oh, but even I was upset at that time because I have McLaurin on my fantasy, and he didn't have nothing till later on in the game, which he had a big.
That's what half the bar had McLaurin on their teams, and every time they looked up, they're like, "Oh, Redskins pass," and I was like, "Yeah, that's Curtis." I was like, "That's Curtis Samuel."
Yeah,
I was like, "That's Curtis Samuel, guys. Don't worry about it."
Not have the bar.
Yeah. But I like that kid, the Hawk. Jahan Dotson looked good. He looked real good.
Yeah, they got some pieces. The Commanders have pieces. And it isn't because for lack of talent.
The question
to me is lack of direction with them.
The question is, what Carson Wentz are they going to have the whole entire season? The MVP Carson Wentz before he got hurt?
No, we haven't seen that since the knee injury. We haven't seen that since the knee injury.
Or the Carson Wentz that choked last 2 games of the season last year. That's at the end, by the end of the year. That's the question is going to be.
What's been my question ever since he got injured is it and this is only Carson can answer this. Is it mental or is it physical? Can he physically not throw? Because he used to be accurate as a passer. He is so inaccurate with his throws. Like wide receivers are always having to stop. They're always having to look back for the ball, or the ball gets tipped or something. He's just been, ever since his injury, he has been so inaccurate with the football. And I don't know if it's mechanical or if it's just mental. Like
I lean more mental because there's times he shows he has the mechanics. He has the mechanics. So to me, I think it's a mental thing. And I don't want it to be because I think he has the ability when he actually puts it all together to actually be a really good quarterback.
Listen, this is the best part of the week was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, and you're not gonna like this. Was there's only one losing team in the NFC.
No, not only did the Cowboys lose the game, they lost the season. They lost the season.
So I guess you're saying that the Cowboys season's a thumbs down.
Yeah, very much a thumbs down.
Oh gosh, and all this talk, and especially with Michael Irvin being peacockish and saying, you know, our Cowboys, we have the number one offense
anybody who thought the Cowboys were going to go 16-0 or whatever the ridiculous number it was.
Yeah,
that anybody who thought that is ridiculous. I didn't mind losing on Sunday because I picked the Bucks. I knew the Bucks were going to win.
A better team. Yeah,
I knew they were going to win, and I knew they were going to win by more than the spread.
Yeah, Bucks.
I had no doubt in my mind that was going to happen.
But
I didn't mind losing. The only thing we couldn't have is Dak Prescott getting injured and out for 7-8 weeks. Like,
and you have
now it's survive instead of thrive in these games. It's now survive. It's now survive.
Well, it looks like
you survive till Dak comes back, and then it's a hand injury. What kind of condition is that going to be in?
Well, Jerry said after surgery, it looks like he'll be back in 4 weeks, not 6 to 8.
4 weeks?
That's what he
said.
said.
It's going to be 4 weeks till he can grip a football.
Come on,
Let
alone spin it.
This is what he said.
No, Jerome.
I understand what he said.
He said after surgery.
Hold up.
After surgery, he said it looks like he's going to be there. He'll be ready in 4 weeks.
Well, Gerald, I got to serve this to you, sir.
That's insane. That's insane.
No,
that's insane.
You're not gonna have a quarterback hurt his thumb and be back within a month. No. It's
definitely gonna be at least. It'll be 5 weeks before. It might be 4 weeks
before he grips a ball.
It probably will be 4 weeks. That's what I'm saying. It'll be 4 weeks till he can grip a football. There's no way he's gonna be able to spin it and be able to make throw. He's not gonna be able to make that throw across the. You're basically going to cut half the field off if he goes in the game.
That is hilarious.
And again, it's going to come down to survive and it's going to be you're going to have to survive as long as if the Cowboys are still in it by the time I think it's going to be 7, maybe 8 weeks. I think the bye week is week 8, so. If they can get to that, if they can get to the bye week and still be viable,
that's a realistic timetable.
Then maybe the Cowboys have a shot.
That is a realistic timetable.
But look, I said this at the beginning. The Cowboys' schedule is rough at the beginning.
It is,
and you look at their first 2 games. I mean, Tampa Bay, and now you get the Super Bowl runner-up, Cincinnati.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And and this was my other point that I wanted to mention with Irving. And Andrew pointed out. Yeah, Irving was like, we got the number 1 offense in the league last year. Number 1 offense in the league. all we need to do is just straighten out those penalties. To straighten out those penalties, we could be like the 72 Dolphins. Well, yes, the undefeated for the season thing was hilarious. I also paid attention to the number one offense thing that he said too. You can't be the number one offense and you only score a field goal.
Listen,
And that was with the guy who you claim to be unquestionably the best quarterback in the division.
Listen.
I mean, you saw what the Cowboys are, and it's not a true. They had practice squad wide receivers out.
Can you
it
say
it was CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of guys they got off the practice squad?
Can you say lame duck coach?
Absolutely. He's as lame. He's as lame duck. He's as lame duck as and you see it. You see it. Nobody even talks to him.
Everybody knows Jerry has a hard on for Sean Payton. We know this.
I want to believe that.
Jerry has a hard on for Sean Payton.
He does.
So
I want to believe that.
So Jerry's like, Mike, you're just here. You're just a placement right now.
I want to believe that because, but to me, if that would be the case, he should have ushered McCarthy out last year.
Yes, but Sean wasn't going to come back this year. Saying so, he's going to give Sean.
I tell you, man.
He wanted. No.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely not. Stay as Cam Newton. Stay as far away as possible.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Cool says Jerry Jones on that good cushion alcohol. Yeah, I agree. Whatever he's smoking, it's real good. If he's saying that it's going to be like 4 weeks, no. And Hot TV, and yeah, we talked about this earlier in the week. He says, I know Cole disagreed with me, but Skip Bayless said on national TV that he wanted Cam Newton on the Cowboys. You have to overhaul the. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dietz. They would have to overhaul the offense and make it totally different because they don't run that style of offense the way that Cam Newton would need to run it with. And he says, I'm a Cam believer, and I want him to get another shot. I want him to get another shot, too. Have him look towards a team like the Ravens or a team like the Cardinals. Then I could see him get another shot.
Exactly. It has to be the right. It has to be the right situation. It has to be the right situation. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys are not that situation. They're not built for that.
No, it's not.
I can't look at the offensive line. The offensive line blocks different. Everything would be different. It would be a disaster to have Cam in there. I don't think Cam would fit. Cam, you have to run a completely different offense, and it's like, and Cam has always been that guy. He's always been the same thing. One read, and figure the rest out.
And sometimes just a straight shotgun snap and run. I mean, and you mentioned it. He does have that Superman mentality where he's like, well, I'm 6'5", 255. You know, I can get the job done. I can smack a shorter and a smaller man. And yeah, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you can do that. But he's now 34. Yeah. I don't know if you want him to take those types of hits anymore or absorb that type of punishment anymore. Even as probably cock diesel as he still is now. I don't know if you want him to take those shots because now he has shown that if you get him a good shot, he might go out the game.
And you look at the guys that Cam was really great with. Cam had a great, his great seasons were with guys like Steve Smith. Well, what did Steve Smith do that was better than everybody else? A, precision route running, and B, he was faster than everybody else.
Yeah, about to say he stretched the field.
That was
a big thing.
So he was wide open.
Yeah, stretched the field.
When Cam has struggled, it has been trying to get the ball to guys who are not open.
Right.
and the Cowboys don't have that. They have CeeDee Lamb, and that's it. The rest of the guys, they need the ball in spots that are open. They can't make the other plays. And until Gallup comes back, until Cedric Wilson comes back. Like they have to have that kind of a guy. What I'm hoping this does is I'm hoping this slows down Kellen Moore, and I'm hoping this slows them down to saying we need to run the football more.
That's what I'm hoping too. Because
there's no question. There's no reason why Ezekiel Elliott had 15 carries the other day.
That I'm hoping that too.
It doesn't make any sense.
I've said this to me, a Cowboy fan. I'll say it to you. What I don't understand is that you got a team, especially now that you got a stud on defense in Micah Parsons. You have a team that is built to do some major damage on defense, and you have a quarterback who does his best damage with play action. Why are you insistent on wanting to have him throw the ball 40, 45 times a game? I don't understand it.
And you have receivers that, like I just said, they can't win one-on-one matchups.
Right.
They have to have open spaces. So you have to be able to run the football. You have to be able to run the ball to open those spaces up because you didn't have Gallup. You didn't have Cedric Wilson last week. You didn't have the guys that you needed. That you had random practice squad guy, and that's not going to work against a Tampa Bay defense that has some of the best corner. I mean, if you were watching that game like I was, you would have noticed that the middle linebacker, who's a great middle linebacker, by the way,
underrated. I agree.
He was literally 15 yards deep. Not even thinking about the run. He was bailing out into pass. It was like they had three safeties because they were like, nope, they're not going to run the ball, so who cares?
Now, yeah, I agree with you. Now, okay. So Hawk TV says Cam and Zeke would be a match made in heaven for one-on-ones for CeeDee Lamb. He also before then says, to Cam's credit, he ran a Josh McDaniels offense. Y'all telling me that Kellen Moore's offense is braille? No, I'm telling you that this is what happened.
First of all,
I'll let you wise after this. I will say this to you. Newton ran that offense for 1 year. The very next year, Mac Jones gets drafted, and before the second year of Cam Newton being a quarterback for the Patriots was made available, Mac Jones, who hadn't taken an NFL snap for that team or the league, was teaching Cam the whole playbook.
Yep.
Not to mention Josh McDaniels. Changed his offense. He changed his offense for Cam when Cam was in the game.
He scaled it down, right?
He not even scaled it down. They were running option.
That's what I'm saying. He scaled it all the way down.
They were running quarterback options.
Yeah. When do you know?
That's not Josh McDaniels. That's not Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels knew what he had, and he said, I can't run my offense with this guy. I have to run a totally different offense. And that's what they did. And that's why they drafted Mac Jones.
Yep.
Because they said we can't do this and be viable. We have to run a regular offense. We need a regular quarterback.
Yeah. Listen, I would love for Cam to get another opportunity.
Same.
But to me, he is not that quarterback anymore.
No.
I'm saying he doesn't have
I would love to.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't throw the ball like he used to. And okay, right now he's 30-something years old. You're gonna have him run the rock. You're gonna really get him beat up even more. So to me, he is not the solution.
It would have to be in Philly or Baltimore.
Yeah, he's not the solution.
Those are the
if Dallas is going to do something
for him.
Yeah, if Dallas is going to do something, you better call San Fran and call for Jimmy G or somebody.
That or go out and get Andy Dalton.
Well, Jimmy G's got to know. Jimmy G's not going anywhere. He's got no trade clause.
No, I know he's not going anywhere.
I'm sure if they offered him the right money, he'll take that no trade off the table.
Agreed.
I think he's getting like $30 million. I don't think money's an issue.
They
gets a chance to play. I think he will. Yeah.
He restructured his contract, and for a chance to start, especially listen, I don't care what you say. But an opportunity to start for the Dallas Cowboys, why would you turn that down?
Yeah.
This is the Dallas Cowboys. As much as that, it pains me to say that. But why would you turn that opportunity down? To be a backup to Trey Lance?
Here's why Jimmy G would turn that down. He was in Chicago. He had the best seat in the house in Chicago on Sunday. And he's gonna say, you know what?
I'll be starting.
My chance is coming. My chance is coming.
Yeah.
So that was, and here's the thing about week 1. And I've heard this a lot. And since we're on the 49ers, and it sucks that Snowman's not here, but here's the thing that sucks about 49ers. I've had people ask me all week, do you start Jimmy G now? Do you start Jimmy G off that game? Well, first off, it's one game. First off, one game in, they're not doing that because once you make that decision, once you go to Jimmy G, you can't take that bullet out of the chamber. Like, that shot's fired. You can't go to Jimmy G and then go, well, you know what? We're going back to Trey Lance. That would be a disaster. Second thing is, they were playing in a monsoon. Like, to say, oh, this guy couldn't pass the ball. Like, it was raining so hard you could barely I was watching at the bar. Could barely see the game. Like, you're not gonna go, you know what? Trey Lance isn't our guy because he couldn't win in a monsoon in Chicago. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Listen, people are looking for excuses for Trey Lance to fail. Be it whatever it is, Jimmy G has his people that like him, and so anytime Trey Lance that was the problem. See, San Fran was supposed to get rid of Jimmy G because now anytime Trey Lance struggle, he's got to look over his shoulder. He has to worry about Jimmy G taking his job.
Yeah,
and so if you really truly believe that Trey Lance was your future, then you take away that distraction of Jimmy G being there.
That's what everybody thought. That's why everybody thought, all right, he's going to be traded or he's going to get cut.
Yeah.
And
it didn't happen.
When that didn't happen,
and restructured his deal.
It just made no sense. It just made no sense. But
that was just to me showed me that they had no faith. They had no real faith in Trey Lance. That's what it showed to me.
I think that game just played out, and they just lost the feel of the game. And
then losing Elijah Mitchell so early in the game hurt as well because he had started off pretty good. He's 6 carries, 43 yards.
Losing Elijah Mitchell, and even when Elijah went down, they never went back. They never went back to Debo. They ran him twice inside the 10-yard line, and he was trucking dudes and running people over. Like, when Elijah went out, like, that's how you won in the second half of last year, was Debo Samuel running the football. Yeah. Why you wouldn't go back? Why you wouldn't go to that when you know we can't throw because the weather, it's just bad. It's just bad to even try to throw it. Well, we can just pitch it to him. We can pitch it to him. He can catch that, and we go from there. They never even tried. They never tried it. They never even tried it in the second half. And it's not like the Bears were ready for Debo. He was trucking dude. He was trucking dudes on his way to that touchdown run.
Yeah, definitely.
But San Francisco. But back to week 1. I mean, this is the other thing. I mean, everybody wants to talk about Green Bay, and how everybody wants to be down on Green Bay.
First of all, you lose your best receiver in Lazarus, right? The guys that you have are unproven.
You lose your top 3. They lost their top 3 wide. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, whatever the hell his name is. They lost him. They lost the other guy that went to the Chiefs. The other guy, Acrimonious St. Brown, is gone. They lost everybody. They lost everybody that Aaron Rodgers was used to throwing to. But here's the thing. And I'm a historical guy. And so I always try to go back and use the historical evidence to my advantage. And I had to go way back to last year. Aaron Rodgers threw for 100 yards and 3 interceptions against the Saints. And everybody said, oh my God, he's done. Bench him. Don't even play Aaron Rodgers anymore. And then he comes out the next week and throws for 500 yards against the Bears. Like this is what we do. This is NFL. This is what the NFL does to people. It makes people go, "Oh my God, let's move on. Let's move on." No, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's going to even out. Aaron had a bad game. He's allowed to have bad games, and it was game 1. It's the same thing last year. They lost to the Saints, and everybody lost their minds. What happened? Green Bay goes out, and at the end of the year, they had home field throughout the playoffs. Yeah. They were the best team in the NFC. It's so stupid. And the Jimmy G thing, the best quote about football. Who's the best player? Who's the best player on any team? Wise.
Who's supposed to be a best quarterback?
Who's the best player? Who's the best player to be on any team? On any team you're on, who's the best player to be? The backup quarterback. Every fan loves the backup quarterback. They love the backup quarterback.
Sick posted this question. Here's a weird thought. What if Colin Kaepernick gets an offer from the Cowboys? I don't think it'll work out. I don't think Jerry's going to offer him out.
It would be the same. It would be the same as Cam Newton. It'd be the same as Cam Newton. We're talking about guy. No, Johnny Football's football career is over.
Oh man,
I don't even think he's picked up a football in.
Well, he was playing. Wasn't he playing in the arena? One of those leagues. He was playing in one of those leagues. Fan league.
He was playing in the CFL for a while, and then.
But he was also playing in the fan only league. He was playing in that fan only league.
Oh. I haven't heard anything about Johnny. I haven't heard anything about Johnny Football. For
whatever league Terrell Owens was playing in, he was playing in that league as well.
Well, that says enough about what's going on in that league.
So Cole had to step away, and it's just me and Dietz here running the show.
Absolutely, we're just talking football because that's what's on everybody's mind.
So Cap is a baby land right now. Plus, he's 32 years old, and Johnny Football is playing for Fan Control Football. Yes, he played in one of those leagues. I know he was playing
fan controlled football.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I guess they call the plays in that league. It's something unique where I think the fans call the plays.
That just sounds like the dumbest idea in the history of
all people. I would have thought you would have known about them.
that just sounds like the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life.
I didn't really watch it.
So basically, every play is like Madden. It's like all streaks.
I don't know. Ryan, I don't know. What are the rules, Ryan? You probably know.
If fans are calling the plays, that's what everybody runs in Madden. All streaks, and you just throw to whoever's open.
Just sweeps all day.
All streaks, and who cares? Throw it. And if it's not open, run. That's Madden. That's Madden football. Madden football 101.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's continue to talk football, man. So tonight's game is the first game on Amazon Prime. Amazon took the Thursday night games from now on. What do you think about that?
Well, it's on Amazon Prime and it's on Peacock.
Is it on Peacock?
If you have Peacock, you get the game too. You get the game too.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the.
Because Al Michaels is the voice of that.
Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. It'll be interesting.
Kirk Herbstreit is actually doing NFL games now.
Herb Street bugs me. He just irks me, and he irks me because of where he was. He's one of those guys that has definitely gotten too big for his britches. And the thing about Herb Street is everybody is the nicest person ever, and the nicest. It doesn't matter where he is. He doesn't. I mean, last week sitting there talking about USC, just blowing up USC the entire game. Oh, this is the best we've ever seen USC play. I'm like, they played Rice, buddy. Calm down. they played Rice. They've played Rice so far. Let's relax with the USC is back to being USC, because that's not the case. They just fired their coach in the middle of last season. Like, they're not USC yet. They're not Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart.
Lincoln Riley's now the head coach there, right?
Yes, Lincoln Riley's the head coach. He brought with him a boatload of I don't even call them the USC Trojans. They're the USC transfers now. 24 transfer players, including the quarterback, star wide receiver, and starting running back, are all transfers from other programs where they played the entire season. They are the example. Yes, they played Stanford last week. They did play Stanford last week. They played Rice week 1. And I was talking about Herb Street talking during the game. He said, "Oh, they've looked so good. They looked so good last week." I was like, "Is that home against Rice?" Like, that doesn't make me jump out of my chair and go, "Oh, look at USC." Like, it's great that they won, but they should have won. They brought in the reigning Biletnikoff Award winner. Like, how do you hit the transfer portal after you won an award at your previous university? You know what? I'm good. I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else. Like that. That's where I hate the transfer portal. Like, and I said this. I said this when they started doing this. Like, it should be the reverse of the redshirt rule, where, like, if you play X amount of games, if you play a certain percentage of your team's games, you shouldn't be able to jump into the transfer portal. Like, if you want to transfer, that's fine. But you got to do it the real way. You got to sit out a year, and you got to do that because it just ruins the continuity of football. And it's really ruined the first 2 weeks. Every single game is like, well, this guy transferred in from Ohio, and this guy transferred in from Youngstown, and this guy transferred from here. And it's like, oh my God, dude, this is crazy.
All right, so here's Ryan explaining what fan control football is.
Oh, let's see it.
Okay, here's the gist. 7-on-7, 50-yard field, no special teams, kicking, fans call the plays, team powers, 5th down, power play, and fan draft, QB, wide receiver, defensive back every week. Offensive, defensive squads remain stat.
Wait a minute. So it's like playground rules. Like,
like
they
fantasy,
line like what?
Like fantasy football.
They line up at the 50-yard line, and you're like, I got first pick. I got T.O. All right, I got Johnny Football. I got, like, how much would that suck? How much would that suck to be the last guy?
I guess it would be, to be picked. That, like, I was the last dude to be picked. Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, it'd be like gym class all over again. No one wants that.
Six says it kind of sounds like NFL Street.
NFL Street, one of the best football video games of all time.
Yeah.
You could there was no pass interference. You could drop kick people in the middle of game, in the middle of plays. It was sick. Oh, that was Blitz. That was Blitz. But Street was the same. Street was the same way. It was Blitz. It was just Blitz played in the street.
Yeah. So yes. Oh man. So yeah. To me, it's going to be an interesting season this year, both in college and the pros. I don't. Besides Buffalo or in Kansas City, I don't really see any really other teams that like, especially in the NFC. There's no team really that's really standing out to me in the NFC. Yeah,
No,
Patriots.
I think the NFC. I think the NFC is as muddled as it's ever been. And it's basically with teams. There's no team that I look at and I go, all right, that team is great. Like every single team in the NFC is flawed in some way, and that just creates it really creates what happened on Sunday. And
yeah.
I don't know how you were watching the games. I don't know if you felt the same way I did. They were boring. The 4:00 games were boring. I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah, I didn't really.
The only game that
early
really,
games. I watched the early games. I barely watched the Giants. I was watching some of the Giants games. I was actually had I was producing a show, so I really didn't really watch football from 4 to like 7.
like even though the Giants game, like the Giants game got interesting in the last minute of the game.
Yes.
And that was the only time it got interesting. The rest of the games, except with the exception of Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, nobody was really paying. Obviously, teams were paying attention. Like if your team was playing, obviously, the 49ers fans at the bar were going nuts with every play, but that's what they do. But nobody else was really paying attention to any of, and we had all, the bar I was at had all the game, most of the games on.
Yeah.
And nobody was paying attention. Everybody was like, whatever, like, what's going on here? This isn't good. And the other takeaway from football on Sunday is we said it. I've said it on Fifth Down for 6 years. I've done Fifth Down. And I said it the first week I did games. College kickers. That's all you need to say. And what's happened? The college kickers that we were talking about have become professionals. And they were bad. Kicking was bad.
Yeah. Oh no, listen. They missed extra points. I was shocked that Bullock missed that field goal.
Bullock missed the kid from the guy from Cincinnati
missed the extra point. Yeah,
he didn't just miss; it was one of the worst kicks I've ever seen. And I was like, "Oh, it got blocked." And then they showed the replay, and I was like, "No, it didn't get blocked. It just ducked."
It was just bad kick.
I just don't. And then they did block. Then they did block one of them.
Oh yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick, yes.
But one of the kicks was just it was the worst kick I've ever seen, and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then you get games like Colts Texans that ends in a tie.
And the crazy thing was, Texans jumped out to an early lead, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And so when the Colts made their comeback and tied it up, I was like, "What? Wow, this is." And then just couldn't score in the OT.
I mean, why can't the NFL just watch? Why can't they watch Pittsburgh, Tennessee from last Saturday? A game that goes into overtime, and they play it out on the field, and we walk away with a winner. Like, why can't the NFL figure something out to do that? You don't have to play it. I get it. You don't want to go 20 yards and you don't want to keep the game going like forever.
Yeah.
But walk away with a winner. I've always said don't go from the 20, go from the 40-yard line. Go from the 40-yard line. That way there's first downs involved. But you go from the 40 and no kicks.
Listen, I think that they
no kicks till the third overtime, and you see how it goes.
I just feel like they should both get out opportunity in overtime. That's how I feel.
But that's how it is. That's how it is now, right?
No.
Well, is it still? I know in the playoffs, even if they score a touchdown, you still get the ball back.
I think in the playoffs, yes, but I don't think in the regular season it's changed much.
But I don't think anybody did. That first drive, I don't think anybody did. And the classic line, the kiss of death from Matt Hasselbeck when they took the ball. We want the ball and we're going to score. Yeah, well, Matt Hasselbeck did throw a touchdown pass. It just happened to go the other way. First play in overtime. Boom, pick six, gone. I was like, yeah, good call, Matt.
Oh man.
But the kicking game was bad. The games were and most of the games they just looked like week one. It looked bad. It looked sloppy.
Listen, it's first of all, a lot of teams didn't play starters during the preseason. Some starters didn't even play at all.
That's exactly what it looked like.
So you're still building chemistry, still building up whatever you have to build up as a team. So it's gonna be a couple of weeks before we really start seeing some at least some kind of chemistry with these teams.
And that's why I think going back to our how we got on this. That's why I think everything looks so muddled. That's why I think everything looks so muddled together. That's why every team looks pretty much the same, because when you were watching them, you didn't really see anything that separates them, except with the exception of Buffalo and Buffalo getting after Buffalo's defense and Kansas City's offense. Other than those two groups, everybody else just looked. They just looked the same. They looked the same. And it looked like you could go, all right, you pick them off of there, pick them off of here, and you're going to get a stalemate. So it's going to be interesting for everybody, and that's why I always say that's why I don't do top 10s in college until I see everybody a couple times. Like, you got to see them a couple times. Like for everybody going just to go all over football, to go to everybody that's I had so many people come up to me, dude, Alabama's in trouble. I'm like, why? They won. They got out of Texas with a win. Yeah, they didn't look good. Everybody's like, yeah, they're not like last year. And I'm like, oh, what? When they almost lost to Florida? When they had to come back against Auburn? Like, I'm like, when does it not look like they did last year?
But do they think that everybody's just not going to improve? So eventually, teams are going to catch up. Teams are going to improve and catch up. Yes, Alabama gets some of the best team players in the country, absolutely. But eventually, some of these teams will catch up, and
not to mention going against Steve Sarkisian,
who knows the team.
Former disciple of Nick. He knows what Nick likes. He's worked with Bill O'Brien on multiple occasions. He knows what Bill O'Brien's going to call on offense. So Sark was probably the worst coach to go up against. And again, Alabama survived. You know what this week is going to be. You know what this week and the rest of the season is going to be. Nick's gonna go. Remember what happened against Texas? Don't let that happen again. You think we're gonna let that happen again? No, he's gonna be hammering his kids about that all. They just gave him fuel for the rest of the year to basically destroy his players during practice, and it's gonna be like some of the Alabama players. I know some of the wide receivers were saying, they were like, dude. We enjoyed games because games were easier than practice. that's what Nick's going to get back to, and he's going to hammer it into these guys. They're going to win by 50 the next couple weeks, and everybody's going to forget about this game against Texas.
Yeah. But it's not like but it's not like Texas is not. It's a pushover. Texas.
Yeah, and Texas has some good. They have some good players. They have Bijan Robinson, the best running back in college. I don't want to say the best running back in college. They have the most NFL ready running back in college. Bijan Robinson's the most NFL ready running back.
So yeah,
I can't wait this week. I want to see Michigan play again.
Who's Michigan playing this week?
That I want to see if they're even on my list. Because I know last week they played Hawaii, and now I have Michigan State on my list. So I don't even if they're playing somebody, it's somebody worthless. It's not even somebody worth betting. Because otherwise they'd be on there. But that's my team. That's my team to watch right now. Is Michigan?
Oh, they are playing Connecticut.
Oh God, no way! They're playing UConn.
They're playing UConn. Yes, they are.
That's why I tried to forget it.
12 p.m. Yes.
Oh God, that game will be over by 12:05.
And then the following week they go play Michigan.
Excellent. I want to see what Michigan is the most interesting team this year to me. One, because they have not one, not two, they have three great quarterbacks, and they can't figure out which one they want to play. And it's funny because the freshman kid looks really good, but Cade McNamara just led you to a playoff. and you don't even let him like enjoy the season. Then he comes out and you won the first game by like 50, and you don't even keep it up with him. Like let's not ruin the season before the season starts. Like Harbaugh, coach the team. Let's go here. You got a chance.
Yeah.
And they have Blake Corum.
They put up 50 points the last two games, 51 against Colorado and 56 against Hawaii. Let's see if they can put another 50 spot on Connecticut.
Oh, they should have that easy. Connecticut, Utah State put up 30 on UConn. And UConn, I live in Connecticut. UConn is a waste.
Oh, they're a basketball school. They've never been a football school.
And they're now getting speaking of basketball, that back in the Big East, that's what makes UConn.
I am happy they're back home.
I love having UConn back in the Big East.
I'm happy they're back home. I am so happy they're back in the Big East. They should have never left the Big East.
No, they should have never left.
I'm still upset Syracuse left the Big East.
Oh, Syracuse, Pittsburgh. Yes. The Big East finals back in the day. I just can't. I can't wait to get back to them. We used to go to the Garden every year for the finals.
Listen, the Kemba Walker run was one of the greatest runs in Big East tournament history.
I still the thing about that series, and everybody loves everybody loves the Kemba Walker. What I was in the crowd. I was in the crowd when the point guard took the ball up, and I'm in the crowd with the UConn fans, and we're sitting there, and he goes to shoot, and the dude just popped a shot from half court, like didn't even. This is a guy who never shoots, and we're like, and you saw the crowd went no, and then it goes in, and everybody lost their minds. But when he went to shoot, everybody was like, no, he's not going to shoot it from there. Bang, pops a half court jump shot. And the whole crowd, no, all the balls in the air. No. Yeah, he made it. Let's go. I was like, oh my God, this is how crazy this is. But I love basketball at the Garden. There's nothing better than basketball at the Garden.
Oh yes. This Big East tournament is going to be I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad Connecticut is back. They belong. They deserve to be in the Big East. I'm looking forward to college basketball as well. But gentlemen, it's about that time. Deets, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you spending this time with me, brother.
Absolutely. And everybody, I just want to remind everybody. Well, first off, game tonight. So the fifth down sports show will be at 5:30 tonight, so that we can get the show in, and you'll still be ready for the game. So you still got time. So we'll get that in. Picks tonight. We'll be doing all our picks for Saturday, picks for the game tonight, picks for the games on Sunday. So we'll have all of that, and of course we have our best and worst of the weekend that we always do. So we got that for tonight. But I want everybody to remember, next week I will be premiering the Marvel Cinematic Sports on this show on Snowman. And you, the audience, will get to pick. So think of your quarterbacks that you want to know. You give me the quarterback. I will give you the Marvel character who fits for that quarterback.
Interesting.
So we'll do that next week. And then, it'll be a segment that we have on the show where, like I said, I will give you the entire backstory to all of the character, and then how that character fits, how the player fits perfectly. My first one is amazing. It's amazing the way it fits. I can't wait to do it. And like I said, I've done it. Do they have to be starters? You can throw me some curveballs, and I can probably figure it out. The ones I have are all this year's current starting quarterbacks.
So breaking news, Andrew just broke, man. Roger Federer is retiring.
Roger Federer. All right.
Yes.
I thought he was already. I thought he was already.
He was done already. Yeah,
I thought he was done already. I mean,
I ain't seen him play in a while, so
might as well make it official.
Right? Yeah, definitely make it official. We lose two greats this year. We lose Federer and Serena. So I appreciate that, Andrew. Thank you. We try our best. Exactly. We're not Snowman and Cole, but we tried. We held it down.
And for everybody out there, like the show,
subscribe,
share the show, subscribe, do all of that stuff, because it really does, and do it not just for Snowman, do it for every show you watch. It helps the people who you're doing it for. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps push the show to other people. So the more you share it, the more you like, the more you subscribe, the better off we're all going to be. So for that, everybody enjoy the game tonight. Tune in at 5:30, and we'll do our bets. I'll give you my picks on the game. If you are betting on the game, as we always say, be safe, be smart.
Be smart about it. Yeah.
Don't bet the farm if you don't have it. Don't bet the rent money. Bet what you can. Have fun with the game. Make it fun.
Hey, listen, and if you're having problems with gambling, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah.
1-800-GAMBLER. Call that number. But Deets, I appreciate you being on the show. Appreciate you holding it down with me, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm always up for talking sports, talking football,
That's why. Listen,
love having football back.
Everybody knows my show. My show is not a sports talk show. It's more mental health and life and all that. So for me to be able to do something, to talk about something I love to talk about, which is sports, I just appreciate the opportunity to come on and share what I know.
It's awesome. I'm the same way. I love talking about what I do. What I do is sports and comics, and I love putting them together. And I love when people are like, when I go on a show and they're like, don't talk about comics. This is a sports show. And I'm like, yeah, and? I'm like, yeah, and? And then I go on a sports show, and I go on a sports show, and they're like, don't talk about, or I go on a comic show, and they're like, don't talk about sports. There he is. Definitely keep that for next week, Wise. I'll preview it. I'll tell you who the Captain America of the NFL is.
I'm a big, to me, growing up in the 80s, reading comics was big for me. Like I used to go every week, walk like 7-8 blocks to this place that sold comics. Me and my buddy Barry, and when we spent whatever little money we had on buying the comics that we enjoyed buying, man. So it actually helped me develop. To me, anything a kid can read is great. So it actually helped me develop my reading skills.
Yeah.
People don't realize that because there's some words in comic books that you usually don't like. What the hell did that mean? So I had to do my research back then. It was go to the dictionary. It wasn't going on.
Exactly.
It was actually going through the dictionary and looking up for the word. So
there was no spell checker. It was, how do you spell this? Go look it up. Look it up. I bet if you told that bet if you said that to a kid right now, they would be like, huh? What am I looking at? No, look in the book, look in the dictionary, find the word, and figure it out.
Sick, me being a table games dealer, that's something we promote a lot at work is 1-800-GAMBLER, because there are people who are degenerates that don't know when to stop. They lose their rent money, they lose their bill money, their car money, and it's a shame. It's a shame that people just don't know when to quit. But it is an addiction. Gambling.
It's like any addiction.
Yeah.
It starts out as something good, and that's how it becomes an addiction. But to me, it's not about whether you're betting, whatever. If it's not fun anymore, like you make the bet to make the game, more fun.
Yeah.
If you're betting and it's upset and your bets are upsetting you, that's when you need to stop. That's when you need to step back.
It's funny. I'm gonna tell the story before we leave. So I'm dealing roulette one day, right? And every time I spent the ball, this dude, and he was just picking us 6 numbers. Like there's 36 numbers on a roulette table. That's actually 38, including the 0 and 00. So he's just picking a little quadrant like of 6 numbers. And I did not hit not one of his number. But every time I missed his number, he was crying like a little child. Like, and it got to the point where I go, sir, do I actually go to your job and act this way? You're acting very childish. If you can't afford to bet, you shouldn't be betting. My supervisor looked at me and was like, because at work, I'm a dual rate, which is sometimes I deal, sometimes I supervise. And so when I deal, I tend to just be honest. I don't have a filter.
Well, that's the best way to be. I've lived at the casino, man, more times than I want to admit. But every time, you can tell when they're lying to you. Like, oh yeah, put your money here, put your money there, do this, do that, and you can tell when somebody's being honest. And when somebody's honest with you and they're like, you don't want to bet, you don't want to make that bet.
Oh, this dude,
you don't want to make that bet.
This is impossible. I'm like, obviously it's possible, sir, because I keep hitting numbers that you don't have.
Yeah. But you believe that person more. You believe the table more when they say something honest like that to you. Like, I know your bosses were probably like, you can't say that to a customer. Oh. But you know what? That guy probably knows, and that guy now comes back because he knows he's going to get real information.
Listen, I told him, listen, if you can't afford to lose, get up off the table, man. I don't need you here. I don't go to your job and act this way. I'm like, I get it. You're losing. I understand that. Nobody likes to lose. But if you cannot afford to lose, then you shouldn't be playing the game. That's me. That's what I say.
Yeah. Like I said, the minute it doesn't become fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like the minute it doesn't become fun, that's when you need to go, all right, well, I'm just gonna watch the game. I'm not gonna bet it.
Definitely. But all right, we're out of here. We're definitely out of here. So
we got the advice. We got the advice in. So everybody have a good one. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the games and have a good weekend.
Yes, enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the games this weekend. Everyone have a blessed weekend. I don't know how to close it out like the guys, but I appreciate you all. You guys are amazing as always. Big shout out to Sig. Big shout out to Andrew, Ryan McCoffey, A Pizzle. Who else? The Playmaker, definitely shout out to Playmaker, the Hawk TV. Appreciate you, brother. Everybody who's contributing to the growth of Snowman in the Morning, we greatly appreciate you guys, man. You guys are awesome. And keep it up, man. Just keep sharing, liking the episodes. And we appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. You have a great day. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, the hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts.